J. Cole is done for. At least that's what the internet is screaming right now. People are saying he just declared himself dead on a secret track, and Jay Blackman caught the whole thing in 4K. This isn't a rollout, it's a grave-opening conspiracy, and hip-hop feels like it's holding its breath. Everybody thought they knew what the fall-off was going to be. A classic album rollout, a victory lap, one more clean statement from Cole before he disappears again. That was the version people repeated. But now, a weird detail. Disc 2, Track 2 has the whole narrative twisting. Fans are claiming it plays like a funeral in reverse. Like Cole didn't walk on stage, he arrived already gone. And the wild part? The internet swears Jay Blackman clocked a hidden message inside it. Something that feels less like art and more like a warning shot. Alright, let me break this down. Because the way people online are talking about this is straight mind-blowing. And just to be clear, everything is speculation until confirmed. But the internet don't wait for confirmation. It builds a whole courtroom overnight. And right now, the case is built around one thing. That Disc 2, Track 2 moment people keep calling a confession from beyond the grave. First, the imagery people keep describing. Folks are saying the opening lines paint Cole inside a hearse, not metaphorically, not vibes, like literally a scene. A church, a coffin, family crying, grandkids sobbing. And the way fans are framing it is nasty work. They're claiming it's not a story about death. It's Cole burying the version of himself that the world keeps demanding. That alone would be heavy. But it gets even crazier when you hear what the online detectives say happens next. Because the whole track allegedly moves backward, not just in theme, in structure, in the way the visuals reverse. Flowers lifting up from the grave instead of falling, tears defying gravity, a body climbing out of a moment that should be final. And when fans say funeral in reverse, they don't mean it like a cute phrase. They mean it like a deliberate choice. Like Cole wanted the first thing you see to be the end. Now check this out. TikTok investigators have been doing that thing where they slow down clips, zoom in, isolate words, screen record reactions, and stitch it all together like they're building evidence boards. You got people pausing on every bar saying, nah, that line is not random. And the craziest part is the pseudo-technical talk. People on Twitter are claiming they ran lyric segments through pattern recognition tools, comparing repeated phrases and mirrored wording. One thread literally claimed 78% structural symmetry between the first half and the second half of the verse. Again, allegedly. But the confidence? The confidence is what makes it viral. And it's not just random fans either. People are name-dropping sources like it's official. TMZ would never cover this, they say, then immediately follow it with, but reports say insiders heard the early cut. That's how the internet moves, half rumor, half performance. And Cole is the perfect target for it because he's private. He doesn't do the constant social media mess, so when something strange shows up, the silence makes it louder. Now let's talk about Jay Blackman, because in this narrative, he's not just a commentator, he's the so-called surveillance camera. People are claiming Jay has been on Cole's movements like a hawk. Every teaser, every caption, every time a snippet leaks, Jay allegedly breaks it down like a crime scene reconstruction. And when fans say caught in 4K, they mean Jay clocked a moment where Cole's words don't sound like promo, they sound like a final statement. Look at how the fan logic goes. They say, if an artist starts their big final album era by staging their own funeral, that's not novel, that's not marketing, that's a message. And people online are allergic to simple explanations, so they start asking, message to who? Message about what? And that's where the conspiracy starts growing teeth. Because once you accept the premise, again, allegedly, that the track plays life in reverse, the lyrics become a timeline. Folks claim Cole goes from death back to fame, back to lust, back to struggle, back to birth. And every stage is written like a coded file. Not emotional diary pages, more like a controlled demolition plan. Like he's showing you the layers he's about to peel off. And honestly, the way fans describe it, they're not even talking about the song anymore. They're talking about a ritual, a reset, a symbolic execution of old Cole. And that hits different because hip-hop has always treated eras like identities. One album can crown you, one album can bury you. So when people say the fall off is a funeral for hip-hop, what they really mean is, if Cole is choosing to die on record, then the game is about to change whether anybody asked for it or not. Now, one of the evidence points people keep bringing up is the language shift. Fans swear the first track feels reflective, heavy, almost spiritual, like a man narrating his own ending. But then they say there's a pivot where the tone tightens, the words sharpen, and it starts sounding less like closure and more like a trap door opening. You know how some songs feel like a door creaking? That's what folks are claiming. And it gets even wilder because online detectives are comparing it to other death symbolism moments in rap history. They're dragging up old interviews, old lyrics, old lines where Cole hinted at being tired, being done, being ready to step away. They're screenshotting quotes where he talked about perfection, about pressure, about not wanting to drop unless it meant something. And they're stacking it like, see, this is the pattern. Then the reaction videos start. You got creators acting like they just witnessed a crash in real time. Why would he say it like that? Why would he open with a coffin? Why would he make it reverse? And that reaction becomes the product, because the more people react, the more the algorithm pushes it. So now millions of viewers are getting introduced to this narrative not through the track, but through the panic around it. Now let's keep it real. Even if the track is just a creative concept, the internet is treating it like an indictment, like Cole is confessing to something bigger than music. People are claiming the hidden message is about the industry, about careers ending, about somebody being exposed. And once that rumor hits the air, everybody starts looking around like, who's the target? That's where the grave opening conspiracy language comes in. Fans are saying, if you reverse a funeral, you're not mourning, you're unsealing, you're pulling something back into the light. And in internet logic, unsealing always means one thing. Somebody was trying to keep it buried. So what's the alleged buried thing? Depending on where you look, you'll see 100 versions. Some people say it's about rivalries. Some say it's about ghost politics in the industry. Some say it's about Cole ending his own reputation as the calm guy, the safe rapper, the one who doesn't swing. People are saying he's done being polite, done being measured, done playing the role the public assigned him. And when you frame it like that, the funeral imagery is a statement. I'm not who you think I am anymore. Which is terrifying to fans and exciting to haters because everybody loves the moment when a quiet person finally snaps. And this is where Jay Blackman's role gets turned up in the story. Fans swear he didn't just react, they claim he archived it, like he clipped certain lines, lined them up, and said, this right here, this is the key. And once somebody claims there's a key, the internet becomes obsessed with finding the lock it fits. Now add the obsession with numbers. People online love dates, track numbers, disc numbers, timestamps. Disc 2, track 2. They treat it like a code, like 2-2 means something. You got threads trying to connect it to old releases, old anniversaries, old moments in Cole's career. And once that starts, the evidence doesn't even need to be real, it just needs to feel connectable. But the reason this story is sticking is simple. It's cinematic. It's a clean narrative. The king arrives dead. The funeral plays backward. The message is hidden. The watcher caught it. The industry panics. That's a movie. And the internet loves a movie more than it loves the truth. So round one of the evidence, in the way the internet is presenting it, boils down to this. Fans believe Cole staged his own burial on wax, then rewound the tape like he was undoing himself, and that the undoing wasn't for healing, it was for impact, for detonation, for whatever comes next. Pause.
Now let's get into the motive, because this is where everything starts clicking, at least in the way people online are framing it. And again, allegedly, reportedly, speculation until confirmed, but the internet always asks why before it asks, is it real? The biggest backstory angle people keep pushing is the 10-year bunker narrative. Fans swear Cole has been locked in a creative lab for a decade, chasing what insiders supposedly call the perfect last album. Not just another project, not another playlist of records, something built like a monument. And think about it, Cole's whole brand has always been control. Control of the story, control of the image, control of the timing. So when people say the fall off isn't a decline, it's a controlled detonation, it makes sense in internet logic. Because what kind of artist names their era fall off unless they're trying to hijack the insult before anybody else can use it? That's strategy, that's armor. That's like saying, you can't clown me for falling if I'm the one who planned the fall. And that hits different when you look at how hip-hop treats aging. The culture loves you until it decides you're old news. One minute you're the voice of the era, next minute you're getting compared to a kid with a viral hook. So for an artist like Cole, who came up in a generation that had to fight for lyrical respect, the fear isn't being irrelevant. The fear is being remembered wrong. Now add pressure. People online keep saying Cole's been carrying this quiet expectation. Drop the masterpiece. Like the public keeps demanding a final statement that proves everything. And that kind of expectation eats you alive. Because if you drop something good, they say, not enough. If you drop something great, they say, should have done this years ago. If you drop nothing, they call you scared. There's no winning. So the internet is framing this funeral in reverse concept like Cole choosing the only win left. Kill the expectations, then resurrect as whatever he wants. There's also a jealousy angle fans love to whisper about. Not jealousy like he wants their money, more like he wants their chaos. Think about the era. The loudest rappers get the most oxygen. Beef sells. Controversy sells. People argue about you all day and the algorithm feeds you. Cole, historically, hasn't played that game. So the internet starts asking, what if he's tired of being the safe one? What if he's done being the guy who gets praised but not feared? Because in rap, respect is cool, but fear is a different currency. And if Cole is about to drop something that sounds like a warning, fans believe that's him cashing in a different kind of power. And then you've got the industry politics angle people are claiming. The hidden message could end careers. That's an insane claim, but it spreads because it taps into a real fear that the industry is full of secrets. Contracts, broken promises, quiet gatekeeping, and Cole has been around long enough to see it all. So the conspiracy becomes, what if he's finally unsealing it? Now, money always gets dragged into it too, even when it doesn't need to. Online commentators love that fall off hits different template. Back in their peak, people say they were pulling in around X, but now they reportedly. And with Cole, it's not even that he fell financially, it's that the internet projects that pressure onto him anyway. They say he could stop right now and still be good. So if he's still pushing, it's not about money, it's about legacy. Legacy is the real motive in this story. Because if you're Cole, you're living inside comparisons. People constantly rank you next to other giants. They debate your catalog like it's a sport. They act like you're a character in their argument. And after a decade of that, it's easy to imagine wanting to rip the whole scoreboard off the wall. That's why funeral in reverse is such a nasty metaphor. Because funerals are about closure for everybody else. They're about the living deciding what the dead meant. So if Cole opens his era with his own funeral, he's basically saying, you don't get to define me after, I'm defining me right now. And it gets even crazier when you tie it to the title itself, The Fall Off. The internet treats that title like a trap because it dares critics to call it a decline, while secretly setting up the reveal that the fall was planned, like a magician dropping a curtain on purpose, so you look away from the real trick. Now, there's also the replacement angle people keep hinting at. Fans are saying, if a king announces his death before the crown hits the floor, it means the throne is open and somebody's already moving. That's why people are panicking. Not because they think Cole is literally gone, but because they think he's about to change the balance. And you can feel the paranoia in the way people talk. They're not saying new album, they're saying dangerous drop. They're acting like this is an information release, not a music release. Like a document, like something sealed and unsealed. So in motive terms, the internet's theory is basically this. Cole allegedly built this whole concept to end one version of himself, control his legacy, and possibly fire shots at a system he's been quietly watching for years. Put all that together, it looks like the perfect recipe for a controlled explosion. Not the kind that's messy and accidental, the kind that's measured, timed, and meant to leave a crater exactly where he wants.
But here's the part that really hits different. Because behind all the theories and 4K cart talk, the story people are reacting to is personal. It's not just rap lore. It's a man walking you backward through the moments that made him. And when you flip life in reverse, everything that felt permanent turns fragile. Fans keep saying the track doesn't just rewind fame, it rewinds family. A son vanishing back into the womb in the storytelling, a marriage untying itself strand by strand, a home turning into an empty set. And the words people quote aren't flexes. They're like someone staring at their own life and watching it unbuild itself. That's why the funeral imagery lands so hard, because funerals aren't about the person in the coffin, they're about the people left behind. So when listeners picture grandkids crying over Cole's coffin, it drags innocent faces into the frame. That's somebody's family. That's a whole lineage. And whether it's literal or just a concept, it makes the audience feel that cold finality vibe, then yanks it away by reversing time. And honestly, that reversal is cruel in the most cinematic way, because it forces you to imagine what you trade to go back. Would you give up the fame to keep the peace? Would you erase the applause to keep the love clean? Would you undo the spotlight if you knew what it does to a home? The internet keeps saying Cole sounds like a man who saw the end already, not in a dramatic "I'm quitting" way, more like someone who knows success has a cost that doesn't show up on receipts. And that's why people are stuck on it, because even the toughest listeners have somebody they don't want to lose. Even the loudest fans know what it feels like to watch time take something. So when the story paints a life rewinding, death to fame to struggle to birth, it doesn't feel like a gimmick. It feels like a nightmare you can't wake up from. Like you're watching a man get peeled back into nothing, and you can't reach through the screen to stop it. And that's where the warning tone comes in. Because when someone talks like they've already buried the old version of themselves, it means they're done negotiating, done explaining, done softening the truth for the audience. It's like he's saying, you wanted the real? Cool. Here's the real, and it's ugly. That's why this whole narrative has people tense. Not because they think Cole is literally dead, but because they can hear something ending. And when something ends in hip-hop, it never ends quietly. Now this is where things get interesting, because round 2 of the internet evidence isn't just about the funeral concept. It's about the alleged switch-up. The moment people say the tone goes from reflective to war mode. Fans keep pointing at that second track energy, people quoting that "who the F is you" line like it's a door getting kicked in. And again, allegedly, reportedly, but the reaction is real, even if the interpretation isn't. Because once you hear a line like that, the brain starts looking for a target. Who is you? A person? The industry? The audience? The critics? The old version of himself? And the internet doesn't pick one. It picks all of them. And then it argues about it for days. That's how a rumor becomes a movement. Now check this out. Online detectives have been doing what they always do. Frame-by-frame analysis, lyric-by-lyric breakdowns, voice-matching claims, pattern mapping. People swear the rhyme schemes mirror themselves like a time machine. They say bars reflect bars. They say words echo earlier words. Some even claim there are reversal pairs, like if he says "I built" in one section, later he says "I broke" in the matching section. You got threads claiming they counted repeated syllables, tracked internal rhyme placement, compared cadence patterns. One viral post said the verse shows 82% mirrored cadence markers across its halves. That number might be made up, but the effect is the same. It makes the audience feel like something engineered is happening, like this wasn't written in a day, like this was built in a bunker with blueprints. And Jay Blackman, in the way fans describe him, is the narrator of that paranoia. People claim he's the one who spotted the hidden message, like he singled out a few lines and said, "Nah, that's not just poetry." And then everybody started replaying it, looking for the ghost inside the machine. Another evidence point fans keep screaming about is the idea that the visuals defy gravity. Tears moving upward, flowers reversing, a soul clawing backward through time. And the internet is acting like that's not just a visual style, but a coded statement. Nothing is what it looks like. That's why people keep using words like "unsealed," because in their minds, this isn't a song dropping, it's a file being opened. And once a file is opened, the next question is always, who locked it in the first place? Now let's keep it real. A lot of this could just be a concept album. Artists do cinematic stuff all the time. But fans are obsessing because the concept lines up too perfectly with Cole's reputation. The quiet perfectionist, the guy who disappears, the guy who doesn't waste words. So when he does something loud, like staging his own funeral in the opening, people take it like a signal flare. And it gets even crazier when you add the dangerous drop framing. People online are saying if Cole is calling himself dead, he's not asking permission anymore. They're treating it like he's cutting ties with expectations, politics, maybe even relationships in the industry. You also got the career-ending rumor spreading like smoke. Fans are claiming the hidden message could end careers. No one can prove that, no one has receipts, but the phrase itself is addictive because it makes every listener feel like they're standing near a secret. Like if they listen close enough, they'll catch the moment a name gets implied without being said. So what did the detectives do? They start looking for indirect references. They compare the phrasing to old beefs, old subliminals, old interviews. They pull up timelines, they match dates, they match locations, they match vocal inflections. Some even claim you can hear a breath pattern that matches old recordings with 74% similarity. That's the kind of pseudoscience the internet loves. It sounds official enough to be repeatable. Now sprinkle in the reaction economy. TikTok creators filming their faces like they just saw a ghost. YouTube breakdown channels doing 45-minute dissections of a 2-minute segment. Twitter spaces arguing at 2 a.m. like it's a trial. People screenshotting lyrics, circling words in red like high school teachers. And through all that noise, one belief keeps repeating. Cole isn't flexing, he's warning. That's the line fans keep coming back to. Not he's showing off, not he's storytelling. Warning, like the song is a siren, and the only question is who's supposed to hear it. Then you get the Jay Blackman watch narrative. Folks are saying Jay basically declared full-scale surveillance. Every tweet, every move, every breath. And whether that's real or just the internet myth-making, it adds adrenaline to the story. It makes it feel like somebody's being hunted, or somebody's about to be exposed, or both. So round 2 evidence in the internet's language is about escalation, funeral to war mode, reflection to confrontation, poetry to threat. And once you frame it like that, you can't unhear it, even if you try. Now, this whole situation gets even crazier when you realize how the internet builds myths in real time. Because at this point, the fall off isn't just a rumored album, it's a storyline people are living inside. Let's recap the core beats the way folks online keep repeating them, because repetition is literally how this becomes truth in the algorithm. They say, Cole drops an announcement trailer like it's nothing, quiet, clean. Then disc 2, track 2 cracks the vault. Then Jay Blackman catches a hidden message. Then the internet declares it the most dangerous drop in rap history. And that hits different, because none of it has to be confirmed to feel real. It just has to be shared enough times to become the default narrative. And honestly, the side stories are what keep this alive, because people aren't just reacting to the music, they're reacting to each other's reactions. Somebody posts, Cole is dead, as a theory. Then somebody else posts, no, he's killing old Cole. Then a third person posts, no, he's exposing somebody. And now you've got 3 lanes of drama all feeding the same fire. One lane is the ritual lane. People swear the funeral in reverse concept feels like a symbolic sacrifice, like he's offering up his old identity to unlock a new one. They start bringing up old hip-hop superstition talk, like the industry makes you do this, they want control, there are gates. Is it true? Probably not, but it's addictive content, and the more dramatic it sounds, the more it spreads. Another lane is the legacy coffin lane. Fans keep saying Cole built his own coffin on purpose, like he designed the album to be his final container, not because he's quitting, but because he's sealing an era. And when people say legacy coffin, they're basically admitting what hip-hop fans do. They treat albums like tombstones, like you can carve your name into history if you do it right. Then you've got the Jay Blackman watch lane, which is basically fandom turned into surveillance cosplay. Folks act like they're agents. They say, if he blinks, we're already there. They brag about archiving screenshots, saving clips, keeping timelines. And it's funny until it's not, because it shows how the internet now treats celebrities, not as humans, but as interactive puzzles. And it gets even wilder when you see how people pull in unrelated stuff to strengthen the vibe. They'll say, "Remember when Cole went quiet after that one moment?" Or "Remember that line from years ago?" They stitch old footage into new narratives. They use past interviews like prophecy, and suddenly normal life decisions look like chess moves. Another side story people keep bringing up is how hip-hop reacts when a calm artist switches tones. The internet loves a nice guy turns villain arc, so they start framing Cole's "who the F is you" energy like the mask coming off. Like he's done being the reasonable one, done being the mediator. And whether that's real or not, it's a powerful fantasy for the audience, because everybody has a moment where they wish they could stop explaining themselves and just say what they mean. Then there's the industry panic storyline. People claim the industry is nervous because if Cole really drops something that feels like an unsealing, it could change alliances, it could shift who gets respect, it could expose hypocrisies. Again, no receipts, but the rumor is built to feel logical. Why else would they call it dangerous? And the internet keeps feeding itself with fake certainty. Sources say, reports say, insiders claim. That language is like gasoline. It gives the audience permission to believe without proof. So the padding here isn't fluff. It's the ecosystem. It's the way the narrative becomes bigger than the music. It's the way fans turn into investigators, commentators turn into prophets, and a single track number becomes a symbol. And once a symbol exists, people will fight to own what it means.
And this story is still unfolding, with way bigger implications than just one album rumor. What we're seeing here is how the internet turns art into evidence. A metaphor becomes an accusation, a concept becomes a confession, and the louder the crowd gets, the harder it is for the artist to just exist normally. Because think about it, when fans say Cole declared himself dead, they're not just reacting to lyrics, they're projecting their own fears about endings, about eras closing, about icons aging out. Hip-hop moves fast, and the internet moves faster, so the audience is constantly anticipating the funeral before the body even falls. That's grim, but it's real. There's also a bigger conversation about how social media rewards paranoia. Hidden messages get more clicks than simple meaning. Conspiracies get more engagement than straightforward explanations. So even if Cole made a cinematic concept track, the internet has an incentive to treat it like a coded threat. The more extreme the theory, the more people comment. The more people comment, the more the algorithm pushes it. It's a loop. And this isn't just about Cole. It's about any celebrity who tries to do something layered. The moment you create ambiguity, the internet fills it with whatever story it wants. It's like crowdsourcing a narrative. And once the crowd agrees on a version, the celebrity becomes trapped inside it. If Cole stays quiet, people say he's guilty of whatever they invented. If he speaks, people say he's covering it up. That's the trap of modern fame. You're not just famous, you're interpreted constantly by strangers who feel like co-authors of your life. And when you add the Jay Blackman watch energy, it shows another implication. Audiences don't just watch celebrities anymore. They monitor them, they archive them, they clip them, they build timelines, they treat every gesture like a clue. That's a dangerous shift because it blurs entertainment and obsession. So if this funeral in reverse narrative keeps growing, it could become bigger than music. It becomes a cultural moment. People debating what it means when a major artist kills an old self publicly. It becomes a warning to other rappers too. The more you feed the internet mystery, the more the internet will bite into you and refuse to let go. And honestly, hip-hop is already living in that tension between authenticity and performance, between art and marketing, between real pain and content. So when a story like this pops off, it's not just drama, it's a mirror. It shows how desperate we are to feel like we're witnessing something historic, even if we have to invent the danger to make it feel that way. So now we're at the part where the internet stops asking, "What is this?" and starts asking, "What happens next?" And this is where the theories get reckless, but also weirdly poetic. Because if you believe the narrative fans are pushing, then the fall off isn't an album. It's a self-destruct button, not a crash and burn, a controlled detonation. A planned collapse that clears space for something new. And the wildest part is how many people seem to want that. They want the old era to die dramatically so the new era feels earned.
So what's the collapse theory? People are saying Cole is killing the version of himself to try to be everybody's favorite rapper, the balanced one, the measured one, the I don't do drama one. They believe he's burying that identity on purpose so he can come back without the leash. Then there's the prophecy angle. Some fans swear the funeral imagery is Cole signaling the death of something bigger than himself, like hip-hop's current balance of power, like somebody's reign is ending, and that's why people keep repeating that "end careers" line, not because they know it's true, but because the idea of a king shaking the table is intoxicating. And honestly, the Jay Blackman piece makes it feel like a chase scene, like there's a watcher, a recorder, an archivist waiting to catch the moment the mask slips. So the audience watches differently. They don't listen for melody, they listen for slips, for targets, for coded names, for you. And it gets even crazier when you think about how silence can be weaponized. Cole doesn't jump online to explain, he lets the theories build. That makes every rumor louder, every clip sharper, every insider claim more believable. And in the internet's head, that silence becomes proof that something is coming. So the final speculation fans keep circling is this: what if the funeral in reverse is the opening bell, not the finale? What if Cole is not saying I'm done, but I'm restarting? And if he's restarting, he might restart with a list, with receipts, with a tone that doesn't ask for permission. Or the twist theory, what if the death is aimed at the audience? What if he's killing the version of hip-hop fandom that treats artists like content machines? What if he's saying, you want the end? Fine, here's the end. Whatever the truth is, the internet has already decided this feels like a turning point. And once a crowd decides a moment is historic, it becomes historic, even if the original intention was just art. That's the collapse, not just of an era, but of the boundary between music and myth.
So yeah, that's where we're at. People are saying J. Cole didn't just drop music, he dropped a funeral in reverse. Allegedly a confession, allegedly a warning. And Jay Blackman, according to fans, caught the hidden message before anybody could pretend it wasn't there. But I want to know what you think, because this is one of those moments where the comments tell the real story. Do you believe Cole is killing the old version of himself on purpose? Or do you think the internet is reaching and turning a concept into a conspiracy? And if that "who the F is you" energy is real, who do you think it's aimed at? The industry? A specific rapper? The fans? Himself? Drop your theory right now, and don't be safe with it either. Tell me the version you actually believe. And make sure you like the video before this topic gets mysteriously buried in the timeline. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, because if more clips, more lines, or more unsealed details pop up, we're covering every twist. Stay locked in. Jay Blackman Watch is active in the streets and online, and the next drop could change everything.